You're listening to Stories Behind the Songs with Chris Blair. For more information, check out chrisblair.com. In this episode, we're going to sit down with The Woods. We're going to talk about how these three came together to create The Woods during the pandemic, the story behind their first song, World's on Fire, the release of If You Really Love Me, how social media affects the music industry so much, and just an intro into this new group that I have the privilege of having as one of our unsigned artists of the month in 2022. These guys are awesome. You need to follow them. Let's get to it. Hey guys, this is Chris Blair's Stories Behind the Songs, and I am here with The Woods, and I'm really excited about this one, you guys, because I got to name you one of the unsigned artists of the month, which was so awesome. So thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
So let's kind of start with, let's go back and just kind of give individual introductions for everybody that's listening of like who you guys are individually, how you met, and like how all of this kind of came together in 2020.
Should we just go down the line?
Yeah.
Sure, I'll start. My name is Raquel Cole, and I'm actually from Canada, British Columbia, and been living down in Nashville for a while, writing songs, doing my own artist thing, and teamed up with these guys as The Woods.
Yeah. My name's Dan O'Rourke, and same sort of thing. Moved down to Nashville, I guess it's 6.5, 7 years ago. And was doing the artist thing, solo thing, write songs, playing places like the Listening Room Cafe.
Little plug.
Yeah. And then, I think at a certain point you want to do something different and sort of, I guess, conceptualize this thing. But I didn't really have these two with me yet.
Yeah.
Until, we'll get there. But yeah, kind of did the solo thing for 4 or 5 years. And then was like, maybe we do something else, or at least have some fun.
Yeah.
You're like, I need some help.
Yeah.
I'm Leland Rooney. I moved to Tennessee, I think the shortest amount of time of everybody. 5 years ago, I moved out to Nashville. And
where are you from?
From Dallas,
Dallas.
from Texas.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it was all just trying to survive and playing for anyone I possibly could to survive. And then it quickly became, all right, I want to do something. I want to be a part of something. And I found out about this act and, more importantly, this concept and this sound of the harmony group. And me and Dan became friends truly naturally through a circle of friends. And once we got started, we haven't.
Yeah. Dan, I met you through also mutual friends, AJ Cross.
Yep.
And
love AJ.
He was like Pedal Tavern
Yep.
stuff. He was like, dude, you gotta hear this group that just like formed. And like, so it was going back to what you were saying, Leland, is like the doing something with like all of the harmonies. The first time that I heard The Woods, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so fresh, so new. That's what drew me to you guys and was just like, okay, the world needs to know you.
I think that's
the
a
world
great
needs
plug.
to be on fire for The Woods.
I think that's a great plug for the talent in Nashville.
Yeah.
Is even a place like Pedal Tavern. There's probably a dozen people that work there, and most of them are so talented. Any bartender, anywhere you go in town, there's just a talented musician with their own songs, their own career, their own thing going on.
Yeah. So it's 2020. The world's shutting down. Everybody's dealing with that. And you guys, the three of you, came together and started blending your harmonies and all of that. So let's go kind of behind that first song that you wrote with The Woods in mind and kind of tell that story about like the first release that you put out there.
Yeah. So I guess the songs, those early songs were always written with just a feel-good mentality to it, just having fun writing.
Yeah.
Not really focusing on anyone ever hearing the song.
Fitting in, or...
Yeah, just kind of doing its thing. And, I guess the first song that we put out was World's on Fire. And that's really the song that I guess brought us all together in a weird way, partially because of the timing of that song and the title just perfectly fitting the time we were living in. But then it's just a completely 3-part harmony driven song. So, I mean, they'll always tell you, they're like, oh no, I heard that song. And I was like, I want to sing on that. So it was like, so yeah, I mean, I guess we were already working on putting something together. And then we wanted actually another guy to sing the high harmony. No offense to all the women out there. But we couldn't find him, and then the world shut down. And then it was like, what you doing? You want to sing with us?
Well, I was a big fan of the group, and I said that I would sing until you find somebody. And then a year later, it just sort of stuck. Yeah. So
couldn't get rid of her.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah. Story.
For obvious reasons.
I was not trying to be in this band.
Man, like we did the World's on Fire live streams. That's how we started singing together, and we weren't calling ourselves the Woods.
Yeah.
It was just like, here's the live stream. We would all invite all the people we know, and then sort of, progressively more and more people watched us. But it was just like to keep us sane, because all we wanted to do was play music. And then to kind of help other people stay sane, because it's like, you can't go out, you can't leave your house. We'll bring, some sort of thing. We had like a big screen TV in front of us. You could see all the comments and chatting back and forth, and like, not just us chatting with each other, but like even the audience online, sort of have their own little dialogue. So it was sweet, and it like kept us sane. And that was really like, again, it goes back to this idea that like none of this was ever to do it. Like to be this thing, so to speak. Like these songs were just to feel good. Us playing music was just to feel good. Like just to be okay.
Yeah.
And bring people together. And like she said, after a year, it was like, well, come on.
We kind of got something going on.
Maybe we should keep it going. So we played these live streams and did the thing, and then kind of formed the sound.
Yeah, and I think World's on Fire was a really great song for us to put out as our first single. Like Dan said, it's like we all come out of the gate singing 3-part harmony, like top of the verse. And so we released it early 2022 because it took that long to get, just with everything being so backed up and slow because of the pandemic. So we put it out to radio and secondary radio, and it made like top 50 on the Music Row breakout chart, and we're really proud of that. And we've just been really pushing it independently so far, and just really grateful for the love it's received.
Totally.
I mean, considering like we really were nobodies. As the band was nobody. Like we were all brand new as the band.
Yeah. It's like all the songs that I've heard you guys do seem to have legs under them like that, though, and like. I know it's the beginning of the career, and like, you just, probably from the seats that you're sitting in, it's like, like you want so much more, obviously, right? But from an outsider looking in, it's like it is so fresh and like refreshing, this harmony trio that you just don't hear on radio anymore. Like it's. Not to badmouth anybody out there, right? But like the duos or the trios, a lot of what I hear lately is like one main vocalist almost all the time, and then there's like the backup singers,
right?
Where like Dan, I know like you take lead, but you guys truly are a trio, and that's what's refreshing to me is like your harmonies. There's like. Dan's voice isn't sticking out, or Raquel, or it's like it's this blend of like amazing. Like it's refreshing. I mean, it's just so. Yeah, like to me, that's what drew me in so quickly is like all of these songs that I've heard is like they're great lyrics, the instrumentation. All of you guys play great instruments. So let's talk about that. Like when did you start, and was it your voice first or the instrument first or same time, or
we all have our answers?
Yeah. I guess we'll go backwards. I was a guitar player first. Actually a classically trained bass player. That's what I thought I was going to do for my life, and guitar was just a fun hobby, playing electric guitar. And by the time I hit high school and I started playing with adults, I realized, oh, I could play guitar for a living. And more importantly, I wanted to be involved in all types of music. That's something I've always had. If I see a performance, I want to be a part of it. And I noticed the guitar was in pretty much everything, you know, especially the electric guitar. So that was the beginning of my journey. You know, I sang and wrote and played in bands, but I was a sideman as a guitar player forever. So coming to Nashville has always been singing's been on the back burner and just something else to have with my guitar playing. And then I joined this trio, and now singing is probably 50% of the game these days, which is funny. But I definitely was a guitar player instrumentalist before I was a singer.
Yeah.
Definitely.
By the way, I hate you.
Oh, man.
I know, for him to say I wanted to be a bass player,
Like,
don't tell
this
people
is just
that.
a hobby.
Yeah.
Like, as a guitar player myself, like I look at what you do and I just like wish I could do half of that. It's like,
Oh, man,
it's
thank
just
you.
a hobby I picked up on the side. Like, yeah, I love you, but I hate you.
Thank you.
What about you, Dan?
I'd say I think probably out of the three of us, I picked it up late. I picked up music late. I was always in athletics. I was always in sports. So I got hurt, and then I couldn't walk for like a summer, and I picked up, honestly, I wouldn't say I picked up guitar and singing. I picked up Bob Dylan. That was all I picked up was Bob Dylan. And so that summer I just learned like every Bob Dylan song there was, which is great if you don't know how to sing, because it gives you all the confidence you need to learn how to sing. But I would say like I just played guitar just to play chords, just to be able to write songs. So singing wasn't even like, I didn't want to be a great singer. I just want to write songs. So that was always my thing, was just like focus on songwriting, focus on that. And then hopefully you get better at playing, better at singing, that all happens. But for me, it was always about the songs. And so, you know, I guess I picked it up probably mid-high school. Yeah.
Okay.
So, because I didn't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
Can't
What
walk.
sports were you in?
I was playing soccer at that time. I'd say played soccer and baseball mostly, but I tore a ligament in the bottom of my foot.
And that led you to the woods.
That led me to the woods.
Little did you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
This episode is brought to you by Sennheiser microphones. When we first started this podcast, we were using some older microphones, and Sennheiser came in and sponsored us and gave us some MK4s and 914s. And I mean, I'm telling you, it's made all of the difference in the world. We love these microphones. We use them at the listening room as well. And I just can't say enough great things about them. Go check out Sennheiser.com. If you are into music in any way, their microphones are hands down the best on the planet. Go check them out, Sennheiser.com. And thank you, Sennheiser, for the support and the sponsorship. We love y'all.
So I came out of the womb singing, and I've been singing ever since. Not quite, but I do jokes. My parents were always like, you sang before you could speak. Like words, you would just sing all the time. So I think it was just always inside of me. And I loved singing as a little girl. And my dad was a really big reason I learned to play guitar. I really had no interest. I just wanted to be Celine Dion or like, you know, front stage, big singer. Didn't end up getting, I mean, I have my voice is fine. I can't sing high like Celine Dion. So I think I, through playing guitar, through writing songs, kind of cultivated my own sound. And for me, it was just all of it, all the pieces. Like I needed all of them to become who I am today. I don't know if I hadn't played guitar, if I hadn't written songs, like they all worked together for me. But I do think singing, like if I had to give something up, like I could never give up singing. I love singing.
Yeah, I love that. It's good to hear. Like it's, you know, just the steps that everybody's different, right? So we've all got our own paths of how we get to where we're going in life, whether it be what we're talking about with music or anybody listening out there, you know, a dream that they're pursuing or whatever. And you know, to be able to get to where you want to be, and that ladder that you kind of climb is different for everybody. It's really cool that
For sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah. You never know what is going to lead you to where your next step, right? Like sometimes the next door that opens for you is like one you weren't even anticipating. You couldn't have even imagined that one being the one that opened.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess that's almost like us. We're like the little happy accident that, like, if not for COVID, you know, because, and this is probably one of the reasons why we probably do feel refreshing, is Nashville's such a talented town where, like, everyone focuses and does their own thing. And we would all probably still be focusing and doing our own thing. But we all had a bunch of time on our hands. And it was like, okay, well, what else are we going to do? And it takes a lot of time to sing 3-part harmony.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's easy. We just had a ton of it. And so I'd say, like, that is sort of the door that, I mean, especially for you. I mean, I was kind of anticipating this thing, hopefully. But, like, having Raquel in this thing is totally, you know. So having this exact Woods makeup is, like, a door we didn't know was going to open.
Yeah.
But glad it did. I guess there's a silver lining to that cloud.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even like as we were setting up for today, and you guys were, you know, sitting side stage practicing and just listening to the way that you were working on the 3-part harmonies and the instrumentation and how to come into a song and all of those kind of things. I think that's what people don't understand is they're, you know, they hear these songs on the radio and they're like, oh, that's awesome. They love the song, but they don't know the stories behind the songs. They don't know like what it takes to from an idea that you're putting on paper lyrically to what you guys have developed. And like you said, this happy little accident, which by the way, Dan, I couldn't help it as you were talking to me about that. Like my head went to like Bob Ross painting, like what did he paint?
Yeah, the woods.
He painted the woods everywhere. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Like you guys need to have like this Bob Ross inspired shirt,
totally
merch that's like, we are
happy
the happy
little
little
trees.
yes.
Yeah.
I love it. So, but yeah,
That's
you know,
funny.
there's so much that goes into that and figuring out, you know, like what different parts of the harmonies you're going to sing and who's going to sing what and all of that. So yeah, I applaud you guys because I know what that takes. And just like I said, just listening to you as we were setting up was like, wow, like just made me respect you guys even more.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
It's definitely something that we all bring our strengths to the table, and it's taken time for us to get good at putting our music together and arranging it and doing all that stuff. And probably sitting here in public and doing it in front of people, it might even seem like we're arguing with each other, but we're so focused on the song and the end product and what we think it should be. And in turn, we've gotten pretty fast at arranging things for us, especially I think we all kind of have a feeling when we bring a song to the table and you hear it and you go, oh, I don't think that's a Woods song, you know, because it just, there's something about the three of us singing together that a song has to have a certain sound and a kind of energy and a quality to it. And so I think we've gotten really good at figuring that out and finding our sound faster than we used to. And I also think a big part of that is if any of us were solo artists, it takes so much work to get a song to that point and fleshing it out and doing all that sort of work that goes into it.
Yeah.
But between the three of us, we get to share the burden, which most of the time is awesome. You know, even interviews and podcasts like this, you know, if one person is sitting here, you have a lot of questions to answer and a lot of things to say, but we get to share.
I'm just hanging out while he's talking.
We get to share it amongst the three of us, and we trust each other enough that we know, you know, we can lean on each other, if you will.
Yeah, I love that. So what is the song that you've put out to date that you guys are the most proud of?
Dude, pride's a funny thing, especially when we are artists seeking validation. It's a little mixed emotions going on.
Oh yeah, because you know, I remember I was like, "World's on Fire is a hit. We need to put it to radio." Blah blah blah. And the world's such a funny place. We finally got on the whole TikTok world, and we're by no means TikTok famous, but it was very interesting to see what songs would get a lot of views.
Yeah.
And so our second single we put out is called "If You Really Love Me." Friend
Love
of
that
ours,
song.
Chad Carlson in town, mixed and produced it for us. He's so great. And we basically just brought our band in, like who we've been playing live with, on the floor and recorded it, which was really cool to record as a band.
Yeah.
You know?
Very natural.
That doesn't always
It felt
happen
actually
anymore.
anti-Nashville.
Yeah.
You get in like a studio and it's like all the people who are playing are our friends. We know, like, we brought these people in.
So that was really cool. But yeah, like the online world loves it, but like radio did not. So
True.
And then vice versa, like Worlds on Fire didn't really get the love online that it did. I think it did really well on radio for like our first release. And so I think that I'm saying this because Dan's like validation, like what are you most proud of? And it's like, are we proud of it for the stats it has, or are we proud of it because of the art we created?
Feels like us.
Because both actually feel like us.
Yeah.
And those songs are out in the world because we're proud of them.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have put them out, if we didn't love them.
Yeah.
And they're both entirely different. If you listen to them, they're both completely different animals. But I'd say we're excited to be proud of another song to put out. Like I think the past has already happened, and we just keep, because we're so young, we just keep looking at what's next.
Right.
But we all love Worlds on Fire, and we all love If You Really Love Me.
Totally.
And they're awesome, cool, vibey songs.
Yes, they are.
And now it's like, now we got to live up to that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what makes music so amazing, is it's all subjective, right?
True.
Like, there's a song that I could listen to and I absolutely love it, and then you listen to it and go, dude, really? That's complete garbage. But I mean, it is that listener that depends on what their mood is probably when they hear the song for the first time, and then all of a sudden it's like that kind of makes it. But we are also in a weird environment, like what you were talking about, Raquel, is like that so much of our industry is, for lack of getting beat up over this podcast, but broken. Like, people don't talk about it enough. It is broken, and like you can have artist A and artist B, and like you guys are A and you've got this talent that's like way up here at the top, right? And then there's artist B who has okay talent, right? They're probably still good, but they're nowhere near the talent that I'm lucky enough to hear every night here at the listening room.
True, which is why the listening room is awesome, because you still bring up all those people.
I mean, it's exactly why I started highlighting different people like you as unsigned artists, because I hear some of the stuff that's going out to radio, and it's like decisions are being made. I feel like, and again, this is subjective too, it's my opinion, but I feel like too many decisions are being made in the industry right now of who's going to go on radio based off of how many TikTok followers do they have, and that kind of thing. So it's like you can have, like, again, artist A is you guys and, X amount of followers, but you've got this other artist that is not as good that has 1 million followers on Instagram and TikTok, and it's like they don't even listen to the songs. They just go, okay, we're going to take that person.
Mm-hmm.
For fairs and festivals, for like all the live shows, all of it, and it's like,
dude, it's so hard too, because like I'm sure all of us sort of see both sides, right? And like we're on the side right now where it's like, wish we had all those followers, because then it'd be like, cool, we don't have to worry about it. But then it's like there's the other side, which is the industry side, who's like, well, yeah, we'd be stupid not to push these people because they have all these followers that are going to spend money, and it's all about making the money for the industry.
Right.
We're just making art.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's a double-edged sword. The social media game and the numbers are like.
But I think that the interesting thing about what you're saying is that you could just be like, I don't want to say one hit wonder, but like TikTok famous, but it's like instead of actually building into artists that could have longevity or like long careers and
100%.
albums worth of music and write lots of great songs and be an act you would really want to go out and see live.
Right.
Whereas like just because you've blown up on TikTok because something got really noticed or whatever, it doesn't mean that that person has the artist in them. And then I guess it's putting that person down, but it is just sort of like, I wish there was more of a middle ground and it wasn't just all this or all that, and it could be, Does that make sense?
Totally.
Like,
Yeah, totally. I mean,
meet in the middle.
it is also
That
on
could
the
be a
flip
song.
side. It's amazing that we have these devices that
Yeah.
everybody carries in their phone that you can build this fan base without a label.
Right.
In a way, like you can create. So like you want to play the game, quote unquote, like and get the followers, and that's hopefully what we're doing by doing
Right.
stuff like this, is
True.
introducing your music to a lot more people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you want to play both, but I agree. I wish there was some middle ground where like, just it was more fair in the true artistry that you have. But at the same time, I agree that like you guys, obviously you play the instruments, you put all of this time and effort into like creating the harmonies and all of this that is making up who the Woods are. So long term, that's gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna keep doing great songs and
Fingers
and,
crossed.
yeah, fingers crossed. Like, but yeah, like versus someone that puts a song out as a one-hit wonder kind of thing.
Right.
I think we're trying to hang on to that credibility and that artistry and everything with our music, but while also making it appeal to people in a way that it's undeniable, right? Like we want it to be the hottest new thing. Don't get us wrong, but we want it built upon something that is truly in talent and writing and stuff you can't deny, stuff that can't disappear, and stuff that's timeless. We want to be a legacy act or a heritage act in the future.
Yeah.
There's a reason we even went with the Woods and all that kind of thing, is because you think about those acts, the Eagles and the Beatles and all those legacy acts, that we want to be in that tier of act, something that everybody understands is artistic and cool, but also is undeniably popular. That's the world we want to live in, which is easier said than done, right? To walk that line and find that balance, especially in Nashville. But
Yeah.
that's what we're aiming for sure.
Deeply rooted in salad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Castles made of sand,
Just like trees.
just like trees.
We want good roots, Gotta
Yeah.
have good roots.
This episode is brought to you by Britt Skin Beauty. Located in the beautiful Indulgence Medi Spa in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, Brittany is the go-to esthetician for facials, dermaplaning, microdermabrasion, waxing, lashes, and any skincare products and consultations. So many people in the music industry use her frequently, and her work speaks for itself. To schedule your next consultation or make an appointment, visit brittskinbeauty.com or send an email to brittskinbeauty@gmail.com.
Well, man, you guys are. I mean, again, it's you're at the beginning of your career, but it's like it's so amazing. I love what you guys are doing. So what's next? I mean, what do you got coming up? Next song, tour?
We've been working on recordings. We kind of took a little bit of a break on that and tried to see if anything sort of came to fruition in town. Just if anyone liked us. So people like us. I think now it's time to put out some music.
Mm-hmm.
So working on recording a record. No idea when that'll be out. Hopefully next year. But realistically,
Next year meaning 2023.
2023.
Which isn't too far away.
No,
Yeah.
we're right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, close.
But just playing, just getting out playing. We're going on tour with the Cadillac 3 in November.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be, I suppose, our first opening act thing, like something legit, quote
Yep.
unquote. So we're pretty pumped for that. Getting on the road and doing shows like that, and just getting back in the studio and putting out something else we're proud of.
Yeah.
And just continuously building this thing, because like you said, we're new. And while we've all been doing music for a while, and we feel like we should be farther along because we have been doing our own thing, it's like, whoa, we still got to start and take those natural steps that we want to skip. We just
Yeah.
want to skip steps.
Yeah.
Because like, well, we already did that step, but not as the Woods.
Right.
So we're just going to continuously take everything in stride and take all those necessary steps to reach our intermediate goals of putting out music, building a fan base, getting people to know about us, getting people to like us, and just doing the thing.
And to our fans, you know, we have a lot of loyal fans out there that we only have 2 songs officially released out there. So there's a lot of music and a lot of songs that people love that they haven't been able to hear yet, you know, on their favorite streaming service or whatever. So the good news is the songs that are coming out are definitely the songs that you know and love and you want us to release. We're not going off the deep end and releasing some crazy stuff. It's going to be the Woods, and we're excited to share it with people.
The Woods fans are the most patient fans out there.
They're very patient.
That's awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear the next release and all of that. And I mean, and it's a no-brainer. Like, why you have so many loyal fans? Because like, I don't know. Like, I feel like if someone hears one of the songs that you guys have put out, the 2 songs that you've put out so far, if they hear those and they don't absolutely fall in love with the song and the 3 of you, then I'll keep it clean. But
it wasn't for them anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, it's if you're a music lover, I mean, you like, it's goosebumps, man. It's like,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
So, yeah. So we'll wrap up here in a little bit, but like, I love on every one of these episodes, I always ask if you were talking to the 10-year-old self of yourselves, or to someone that is an inspiring songwriter, artist, or whatever. Pick it. Because that takes a special person to like not go get a normal 9-to-5er and follow a dream as an entrepreneur, and that's what you guys are doing, is building a business. So what would you say to yourselves or to somebody else as far as what you know now of where you are versus before?
We all can have our own
Watch
answers.
Shark Tank.
Watch Shark
I'm
Tank.
kidding.
I love Shark Tank.
I did too. I just, when you said entrepreneur, I was like, I love watching all those people create dream up things to make and sell. And the interesting thing about that show, though, is that most of those people dream up things because it related to something in their life, a problem in their life, something they wanted to solve that was personal to them, that then related to millions of other people that wanted to buy that product. So it's not much different than music, right? By writing about something that is actually personal or true to your life. I always laugh at myself because I'm 10 years old. I'm a year into playing guitar. I want to write songs. And I would just try and write things like I heard on the radio, like, you know, bar songs and breakup songs. And my dad, he was always kind of one ear listening over my shoulder. He was a drummer and loved music. And he's like, hey, Raquel, why don't you try writing something you know about? And it never occurred to me at a 10-year-old to be like, that's a good thought. So my very first song I ever wrote was called Simple Girl. And I brought it to Nashville when I was 12 years old, and I sang it for people.
Crazy.
And got I got offered a Christian label deal, and I didn't take it. It's a long story, but I wrote a song about myself and my life as it was, and that kind of began the journey. And
people liked it.
I've been up and down, chasing things I thought I was supposed to chase, but that's what I tell your 10-year-old self, is be yourself, write about things that are true to you. It works. It works.
I was going to say pretty much the same thing, is like the advice for someone else's. And it's stupid cliche. But the reason it's stupid cliche is because it's so true. Because if you don't do something that you love, well, turn it around. If you're doing something you love and you don't get rich and famous, you're winning because you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
Spin that around. If you get rich and famous on something you hate, you're going to be miserable.
Mm-hmm.
So just make sure whatever you do, it's something that's true to you and something that you love. Because that's the only way you're going to win.
So
and if you
good.
win extra, then you win extra. Hell yeah.
Yep.
But if you lose and you double down and you lose, it's bad loss.
Mm-hmm.
So just be real.
They're going to have to beep that out,
Hell yeah.
Uh-oh, beep.
Hell yeah.
Beep, 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 beep.
I think that's interesting. You say like your 10-year-old self is how you started it. And I think the biggest thing is, it's also kind of a cliche, but the whole, as long as you keep chipping away at something, if you really stick to something, years later, you'll find yourself in a pretty good place, and you probably made some ground. And so I think I would tell that to my young self, my young musician self, is that like, hey, just relax and enjoy it. Just you're gonna keep chipping away at it anyway because you're obsessed with it. You can't get away from it. That fire was always there, but don't worry about it the whole time. I think I could have lived a few years longer if I wasn't so stressed out about playing guitar all those years when I was young.
Again, this guy.
And that's why you're so good.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to say, do more scales. Play more
No,
scales.
absolutely not. Play cool stuff that you like to hear.
Classical bassist with guitar on the side as a hobby. Come on, man.
But to your point about, finding a problem and solving it, it's very ego-driven, I think, but I was an innocent kid. The problem I had is that I was in my room and I would stand in front of my amp and I would play guitar. And I would be like, man, this makes me feel such a way and this is so special. I wish I could put it, I wished for that moment where it could be on a pedestal and be in front of someone. And what you don't realize is it takes having the band, having the songs, having the sound, having the clout, having the albums, having the shows, all those things until you find yourself in minute 42 of your show with the spotlight on you and you're playing lead guitar for people, right? And so that was the thing I always chased, is closing my eyes in my room and wanting to like share that gift and share that moment with people. And you don't realize it just takes decades and time and connections and relationships to be that person in the spotlight playing guitar, Yeah. So that's the problem I've always been trying to solve. And I even think, in a sense, being in this band is part of solving that problem. Is like, no, there's something I have or something I've found that I want to put on a pedestal, and it's like so much harder than, well, just book a stadium and go rip guitar in front of a bunch of people. There's so many steps involved before that.
Yeah.
And I feel like those steps should be enjoyed as well. Every little step should be enjoyed.
Yeah.
It's all about the journey, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Well, thank you guys so much. I
Thanks.
love talking to you. Everybody out there listening, please, please, please go follow and download, buy the songs from the Woods. Become their new loyal fans. And we're going to do this again.
Sweet.
This is what I love. We're going to come back here like a year from now, and we're gonna do this again, and then we're gonna talk about like the things that we talked about today,
Sure.
and that's gonna be
We'll give ourselves some advice a year
exactly.
later.
Yes.
All that stuff you said, scratch it.
Yes.
Well, thank you for having us on, but thank you for everything you've done for us.
Oh man.
And every other artist in this town and everyone you have on this stage, all your stages. Thank you. Really. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. It's I love it. It's doing what I love.
Yep.
Yeah. So, All right. This is Chris Blair with Stories Behind the Songs with the Woods. We'll see you next time.
Please.
This has been an episode of Stories Behind the Songs with Chris Blair. For more information after the show, head over to chrisblair.com. That's where you can find information on these episodes, trailer notes, video links, all kinds of great stuff. Also, make sure to leave us a great rating on iTunes, like and follow us on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. I really hope that you think this show is awesome, and we really appreciate the love and support. I promise to keep gathering great content and continuing to sit down with more amazing songwriters and artists as we grow. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for the support. We'll see you next time.